Today we're going to look at a way to do an increase when you're knitting, and it's called an M1. And usually you'll see it in patterns as an M1L or an M1R for left or right. So I'll show you both of them. They're super easy to do. We'll do a couple across the row, one direction, and then we'll do a couple across the row the other direction, and we'll see what the difference looks like. So what I've got here is I've cast on 10 stitches. I did a couple of rows of just knitting every row because I want this to lay flat so you can see it. And then I did a couple of rows of knit one row, purl one row. So now I have what's called stockinette stitch up here. So you can see the difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an M1R, an M1 right. So I never do my increases on the first stitch generally, sometimes not even on the second stitch. So we're going to go and do our increase here, and we'll do it a couple times across the row. So to perform an M1R, a make one right, we're going to pick up this bar. Do you see this little bar right here, right on top between the stitches, that little bar? We're going to pick that up and set it up on our left hand needle. So if we go into it from behind, from the back side, and pick it up, oops, make sure you get the whole stitch and not just part of it. Then when we put it on our needle, you'll notice we have a short leg and a long leg. Do you see the difference? There's a short leg and a long leg. We want to knit into the short leg. So we don't want to put our needle in here and knit through the back. We want to knit through this short leg. Sometimes it's a little hard to get your needle under that leg because of the way we kind of stretched the stitch. So I use my fingers to kind of pull that yarn around just a little bit so I can get some slack in right there. I pull it around just a little bit so I can get my needle under that short leg, and then I knit that stitch. So we just added a stitch, and now I'm going to knit a couple more, and then we'll do another one. So we're going to pick up that bar, we're going to come around behind instead of going in the front, which we'll do that in a minute. But for this one, you come around in the back and you pick up that stitch onto your left needle, and then you want to knit into that short leg. And in order to make that easier, you kind of have to tug on your finger, put some slack in that stitch so that you can get your other needle up under it. Kind of can be kind of difficult, kind of fidgety, but once you get it up on your right needle, then go ahead and knit it, and that is the increase. And we'll do a couple more stitches, and let's do another one. So we look for that bar right in between. We come around from the back side and stick our needle in. We pull it up on our left needle, and we have that short leg, and we want to knit in to that short leg. So it can be a little fussy, so don't get discouraged. Just keep working it, and you will get it until you have that leg up on your right needle, and then knit it. And then we'll do one more. We'll do one more right here. I'm looking for that top bar. I come in from the back side, pick it up. It's on my left needle, and I'm going to knit into that short front leg. So these are called M1R. So I'm going to purl back. I'll speed this up and purl back, and we'll join you on the next row. All right, we've just purled back. So we're ready to do another knit row. And if I pull these stitches down, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see, but we'll try and show it from the side angle. These stitches, the ones we just did an increase, it's not real invisible, but those few little stitches that we put in are all pointing that direction. So subtle you wouldn't even really notice. But what I like about this increase is it's invisible. You really can't tell. If I pull down on my knitting and really look at those stitches, you can't really tell where we did the increase. So that's a really nice technique to have an invisible increase. And so now we're going to do about the same thing, but this time we're going to do and make one left. So I'm not going to do it on my first stitch. I'm not even going to do it on my second or third stitch, because if you remember, we did our first increase here, and I want to offset it by a stitch so that you can see the difference when we look at the row. So I'm going to knit 3 stitches in, and now I'm going to do the M1L to the left. So we look for that little bar right there, and last time we came in from the back and picked it up. This time we're going to go into the front and pick it up. So again, once we have it picked up, you're going to notice there's a long leg and a short leg. It's kind of back here. And so for the M1L, we want to knit into the back leg. So again, you have to kind of get your yarn scooched around a little bit so you have some slack, and you want to put your right needle into the short end and then knit that stitch. And then we're going to knit a couple more, and now we'll do another M1L. So we're going to go under the bar from the front to the back. We're starting in the front, pointing towards the back, and we can see the long leg is here, and we want to pick up the short leg. So we're going to kind of reach around behind with our right needle and pick up that short leg and then knit it. So that's the M1L. We'll do a couple more. We'll do another one. We're going to come in from the front, pick it up. With this needle, reach around the back. Kind of have to use this finger to scooch the yarn sometimes so that you can get your tip underneath that stitch, and then knit it. And then we'll do 2 more here, and then we'll end this row. So we're going to pick up that bar in between, that very top bar, go from the front towards the back, grab that short leg, knit that. We'll do one more. We find that bar, we go in from the front to the back, and we want to knit the short leg. And then we'll knit to the end. So again, I'm going to speed it up and purl my way back to the beginning. All right, we've finished our purl row, and I'm going to pull the stitches down here. I'm going to pull down on my work here just a little bit so you can see. Now, we just did our left leaning. So let's find one. There's one right there. There's one. Super hard to see. There's one. It's almost impossible to see. But if you kind of notice, the ones going left are here, 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 here. And the leg that I'm looking at is pointing not straight up and down, it's pointing just slightly to the left. Then if I look further down and I want to find my right leaning ones, it's kind of hard to see here, but there's one right there. There's one right there. There's one right there. And that might have been the last one we did. Super invisible. What I tend to do, because I can never remember which one is right and which one is left, I always just do the same one. So I will do, typically, because it's easier, I typically do the M1L. It's just easier. So no matter which the way the pattern says M1 right or M1 left, I always do M1 left because it's easier for me. But you figure out what works for you, but it's such a subtle increase that you can't really tell. So that's how to do an M1. So that completes our M1 tutorial. I had gone ahead and created a second video which will show you here what these stitches are. So look for the video on how to add stitches to work you've already started, how to add stitches at the beginning of a row. So check out that video next, and I hope this helped you learn how to do some increases that are very, very invisible and easy to do. Thanks for watching.